everybody, today I decided to do a video on insomnia, and the reason behind this is sometimes I suffer from insomnia and other times I don't. So I just wanted to put together a little video of some of the things that I've tried, some of the things that have worked, some that haven't worked, for any of you that might have been experiencing insomnia in your life. So stay tuned, and I'm going to tell you all about insomnia and ways to cope with it and ways to make you sleep better. So my name's Dawn Dickinson, and this is my personal channel. This is where I post videos on topics that don't belong with my business channel. You may have come across my business channel, Living in Northern Arizona, where I post topics about real estate and the northern half of Arizona. I also have a channel called Stories by Dawn. I have just launched this channel, and this is where I'm going to be telling you, just reading or telling you stories that I have come across that I've found interesting. Most of them are going to be inspirational and motivational type stories, some about animals because I'm an animal lover, maybe some ghost stories, and I'm going to try to keep them on the bright side and steer away from some of the dark, gloomy stories. I do love paranormal stories. I'm going to be doing some of those on the channel, so check that out if you get a chance. Stories by Dawn. Again, I've just launched it. I only have one video up, but watch for that. So if you like the video, please like, subscribe, and I will be growing it. But these are miscellaneous topics that I think are important to me. So let me tell you what I know about insomnia. Besides being super tired the next day and in a fog and not being able to concentrate and getting forgetful, it can have some other long-term health consequences if you experience it regularly. Now with me, I noticed it seems to happen most often when I'm really tired and I have a lot going on and I really need sleep bad. That's the time that I can't fall asleep. Now why does it happen? Probably because my mind is racing about all the things that I need to do and I can't stop thinking about it enough to relax and fall asleep. I've had times in the past though where I was not able to sleep the entire night, and the reason I discovered years later was because I was on a medication, and if I had forgotten to take that medication that day, it would keep me from falling asleep. And eventually I weaned myself off of that medication. I think it was an unnecessary medication that doctors just love to prescribe meds for everything, you know. And when I did wean myself off, which was terrible, and I wasn't able to sleep probably for 3 days weaning myself off that medication, then I never had a problem since being unable to sleep. And that happened for the entire night, I should say. Never went another entire 24 hours without sleep since I weaned myself off that medication in 2013. So if you're having insomnia problems, you might want to check the medications you're on and see if there's any kind of a link towards that. Now, other health problems you can experience is, it seems like some people might have problems with blood pressure as a result. It seems like you could be aging a little faster, or at least, you know, physically looks like you're aging a little bit faster. Of course, mood swings, crankiness, depression. You're at higher risk for having accidents, not only in the house, you know, tripping over stuff, but also having car accidents. And it will weaken your immune system, and it also could cause eating problems and weight fluctuation, right? You don't want to eat healthy for some reason, or at least I didn't want to eat healthy when I was so tired that the thought of shopping for healthy foods and actually cooking them, preparing meals, that was out of the question, and I would eat fast food, and not only that's unhealthy, but then I would gain weight, and that seemed to make it worse. So all of those things, if you're having troubles with insomnia on a regular basis, those are the kind of things that can happen. So I'd like to share with you some of the things that I have tried to deal with insomnia in the past, and as I was saying, there are times where I've gone many years without having problems sleeping, and then there are other times that I have a problem every single night, either falling asleep or staying asleep, and that usually happens in high stress times in your life. So sleeping pills is the obvious thing that most people try. I myself have used Lunesta. It does seem to work pretty well. Usually within an hour of taking a pill, I am out for the night with a very deep sleep. Now the problem with Lunesta is that the next morning you wake up and you're super tired and foggy and feel like you are out on an all-night binge drinking, and that's how you feel for the entire day. So sleeping pills, I don't like to use them unless it's a last resort, and you can see over the history of time that many celebrities have gotten in trouble using sleeping pills where they've ended up dead because of overdosing or mixing sleeping pills with other medications. And of course the classic case of Michael Jackson, who couldn't sleep and used propanol, which is actually an anesthetic drug, should not have been used outside of a hospital surgical situation. That caused his death. So you have to be careful of sleeping pills, but I have tried Lunesta and I'm desperate that seems to work for me. So another thing that tends to help people is doing a nighttime supplement of melatonin. Melatonin is some type of a natural substance that helps in aid sleep. When my son was young, he had terrible problems sleeping. He is autistic, and I guess that is one of the problems that autistic people sometimes deal with. We gave him melatonin capsules to go to bed every night when he was young, and that did seem to help a little bit. I know some of the newer forms of capsules have a time release in addition to the immediate release, and that's something I've been using lately that seems to help. I will give you a link and tell you a little bit more about that at the end of the video, but natural substances that can be used to help sleep, that's another thing you might want to look at. Eating a good diet, actually eating a good healthy diet, is a good contributor to sleeping habits. For years I ate terrible food, junk food, processed food. I knew it was bad for me, but I couldn't seem to stop myself, and it was like I had this addiction to sugar, and sugar is very bad for pretty much any parts of your health. It took me a long time to get eating healthy again. In fact, just about since last May, I've been on a healthy diet where I've been going grocery shopping and cooking actual food to eat, and I've lost weight as a result, and it seems like my sleeping habits are a little bit better. So eating a healthy diet, that is another thing that you could do to cure your insomnia naturally. And then again, exercise. Exercise is very good for many health reasons. Of course, we all know a lot of them, but you might not have known that getting regular exercise is a way to help your sleeping through the night and getting a good night's sleep. Okay, another tip is to avoid caffeine and nicotine after 6 p.m. Now, you might want to avoid it altogether. I know I have pretty much cut out caffeine except for maybe 1 to 2 Diet Mountain Dews a day. I try not to have any diet sodas anymore, but it's hard to break completely. I used to be a Diet Coke addict, and now I'm down to usually just 1 can of Mountain Dew Zero, which I'd like to cut that out completely, but sometimes you just need one pick-me-up during the day. I usually have one of those at lunch, but if you can avoid caffeine or nicotine after 6 o'clock at night, that would be very helpful for your sleep. Okay, so another tip is to limit your screen time before going to bed. So it's best to not look at your iPhone regularly or your tablet within an hour of going to bed. You're probably better off to make that 2 or 3 hours. Television, that's a little bit questionable because you're often further away from the TV. If anybody my age probably remembers sitting on a TV in a living room watching and having your mom yell, "Don't sit so close to the TV." Well, there might have been some truth to that. So try to also limit television before bed, or if you're watching TV, just don't, get that close to it. So limit your screen time. That's another tip to help with the insomnia. Now, another thing that helps me a lot is to have a pad and pen next to my bed, because a lot of times if I'm super busy, what'll happen is I'll be in bed and I'll be like, ooh, I need to fill this prescription tomorrow, and oh, I need to run by and get this ingredient for Thanksgiving, and I will in my head keep going over and over, oh, don't forget to edit the scene out of the video, so all these things will be going through my head, and until I write it down, I can't forget it, because my brain is thinking, you're going to forget it, you're going to forget it. So once I write it down on a piece of paper, and I have gotten up at night and written down like 6, 7 things that kept running through my head, and then eventually put it down and been able to go to bed. So if you have a pen and paper next to you and some thoughts are racing through your mind, maybe getting up and writing it down will let your mind release it, and then you could go to sleep. So for me, that's something that works. I don't know if all of you have that plaguing you sometimes in the night, but it's when I'm very busy and I can't turn my mind off. Having a pen and paper on my nightstand seems to be really helpful. Okay, so having a gratitude journal or keeping a gratitude journal. Well, every day that you write something in the journal that you're grateful for, that can be helpful. I have a gratitude journal. Sometimes I'll lose track of it and I won't post anything for a couple of months, and then I'll find it and I'm like, oh yeah. So it's good to keep one of those gratitude journals and do a regular meditation. They say that meditators have better sleep patterns. I am also guilty of I'll meditate every day for 2 months and then I'll fall off the wagon and it'll be a month before I do it, and it seems like when I pick it back up, that just seemed to help with the sleep. So meditation, gratitude journal, and trying to keep positive in your mind, that will help with the insomnia. Another thing that helps is keeping the phone away from your bed. Now, I don't know why this happens, but occasionally I'll be sleeping and I've been in a deep sleep and it's 4:30 a.m. and some idiot will text me, and it's never somebody I know, it's never, oh, my daughter has an issue and needs you to answer the phone, nothing like that. It's always, lose 60 pounds by taking this diet supplement, or, oh, get Viagra and blah, blah, blah. I'm female, right? I need that, so like 3, 4 in the morning, some idiots on the East Coast are texting you and they'll wake you up and that will be it. So keep the phone away from your bed, or maybe putting it on silent. That can help with your sleep patterns too. Okay, so those are some of the natural and unnatural, the medication being unnatural, anxiety relief pills or sleeping pills. Those are not natural cures, but the other things are things that can help with the insomnia. I'm going to tell you what I've been using lately that seems to have helped. It is called SleepAdapt, and basically what it is it's melatonin, but it's melatonin that is a mixture of regular melatonin, a time-release melatonin, and some kind of a gamma aminobutyric acid, which I've heard is good, some kind of a stress relief hormone. Some of these things your body doesn't produce as well as you age, and so it might be helpful. So I have been using this SleepAdapt, which I bought off of Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below if any of you want to try it, but I've been very pleased lately. I've been taking it for about 30 days, and before this, for maybe the last 3 months in a row, I'm said in the beginning, I would wake up about 3, go to the restroom, and could not fall asleep again until 5:30, and then at 6 o'clock the alarm would ring, and my night would be ruined. So since I've been taking this, I do get up in the night, but then I've been able to fall asleep. I don't know what the magic formula is, if it's the melatonin, if it's the fact that it's time release, but this has helped me some, and so if you want to try that out, it could be helpful. So my name's Dawn Dickinson. This is my personal channel. You might want to check out my other 2 channels, Living in Northern Arizona or Stories by Dawn. Thanks for watching the video. If you like it, please hit me the thumbs up and maybe subscribe. I do post videos not at regular intervals on this channel, but whenever I get an inspiration to share something that's important to me, I'll post a video, and I do a lot of shorts of scenery that I see in Sedona. So I'd love for you to subscribe, and I'd love to see you back here again next time.